Another keynote presentation. I enjoy those. But I'm just going to talk about this real quick. So, Trick I made a challenge that is a comment or whatever, a comment. That my epistemology isn't really solipsistic because it's just a fallback. Like I can use. He didn't say slippery and strategic, but. And no offense taken, Trick, but. Hopefully you guys, I like being challenged, but what you don't really understand, this is why this is important, because people they feel like if they were solipsist, all they know is this little kernel of a thing. Look, here's a pen, but it's not really there. It's a dream, so it's no. But if you're a solipsist, the pen is still there. It's a dream. So what? I drop it. It falls with the force of gravity that I can measure and that is consistent, But who cares? It's not really happening. Yeah, if it's a rock and you drop it on your foot, it'll break your foot. No, your foot isn't really broken in that case. Yes, it is. In a solipsistic epistemology, having a broken foot means that when you collect perceptions about your foot, it's broken. It has pain still, right? What if we could prove, hey, we're in a dream? Will you stop going to work and starve to death? Because it's not really happening, because the pain is really happening. All your perceptions of the world are still happening, whether they come from a dream, the Matrix, or whatever. And they're very consistent. And it's the fact that they're consistent, some of them, that make them material facts. Okay, it's not that they relate to an external world. They would still be material facts if they're being generated by a dream. It would just turn out that, wow, material facts are just from a dream, because it's way more consistent than any dream I ever had when I was asleep. They would still be material facts. That's what I've been saying. In a solipsistic epistemology, what makes them material facts is their ability to be cross-correlated, right? Right, I hear a sound, I turn, I look, there's a visibility of the same thing that I just heard, and I can go smell it and touch it. If I hear a sound, I turn, and there's nothing there, it's like, oh, there wasn't really anything there, just a stray sound experience. Maybe I was dreaming something, maybe I figured out it was something else making a sound I misinterpreted. So you have a solipsistic epistemology has access to all of your perceptions. It just doesn't have access to this assumption of what it is causing the perceptions exactly. Now, I don't know if somebody's going to want to, deny this. There's a lot of ways that perceptions are tested for consistency, clever ways, and experiments. There's a lot of clever ways. But to get the idea of this, in case anybody doesn't even get what I'm trying to point out to you all, you can think right in the here and now. Okay. If you hear a sound and you go and you look and you don't see anything and you can't smell anything, there's nothing to touch. That throws any objective theory about what was causing that sound sort of into a statistical dilemma. It doesn't have the cross correlation. You can't put a much stock. Now, if you really believe what you heard, sometimes you can hear something and not see it. So you might have to hold, this memory and try to get correlations later over time. But in the here and now, if you compare that to, okay, now I heard a sound, I look and then I see a dog and I can go over and I can touch it and I can smell the dog and, ooh, it stinks. And, no, just kidding. And, it's all of the senses. If a creature's really confused about the status of something, it'll go up, it'll do everything to it. It'll interact a lot, touch it, watch it, get all its senses. Because if you have that cross correlation, that's what defines this feeling of reality. That's what defines for me the definition of a material fact. That cross correlation, right? And the correspondence to truth is really just the correspondence of one perception to this set of consistent perceptions that we take as how things really are. It's really still in our mind. all of that can go on subjectively. All of physics. You can look in space. You could look at evolution. It doesn't matter if it's just a movie. The movie's about this thing. The thing's called evolution. Here's how the evolution works. Okay. You can describe everything about the universe with information you get subjectively. Okay. You can't say what is really going on. So I can say that, hey, my perceptions are coherent with F equals ma. They're coherent with F equals ma. But I can't actually say that's because F equals ma is built into the universe. Well, it's not. It was just an approximation, just a model. But mostly that's fine. In science, right, totally fine. We're already on a theoretical basis. It is a problem for agency, though, because agency is something about how something is feeling internally. Okay, so that is the only real barrier, is why treat other agents. But even that is not as big a deal as most people take it to be. I have dreams. In the dream, the characters are figments of my imagination. I talk to them. I've had a couple lucid dreams where I knew they were figments of my imagination. I still talk to them. So this whole premise of, if you don't believe in the external world, you wouldn't talk to people. If you don't believe that they're agents, you wouldn't talk to them. Well, first of all, I do believe it. But second of all, yes, I would. Of course I would. I also play video games and type things at creatures that aren't actual agents and treat them like agents just for fun. So I have better reason than that to treat, you all like agents. And then again, what is an agent anyway? Does the agent really have to feel like I do on the inside to be worthy of respect, treating as a free, independent creature with its own opinion? No, it's expressing its own opinion is probably enough to establish that. So anyway, hopefully that clears up a little bit.